You're good.
So I can hit the clicker on the computer. So greetings to you this morning from the Financial Aid Office. I'm the Assistant Director of Financial Aid, and my job is to make sure that students here at CF don't have to worry about money. Okay? So that they have enough money to come to schools, to show up in class. That piece is taken care of, and all you have to worry about is studying and doing your awesome thing and going on to achieve your educational goals. So I'm very excited to be here to talk about financial literacy today because it's a real passion of mine. I spent almost a dozen years in the banking world before I came to the college. And I worked with a lot of financial information, and I worked and counseled lots of customers, and now I get that opportunity to do it with students, so it's very exciting for me. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. First of all, what is financial literacy? Really, it's having the knowledge and the skill sets to manage your money now as a college student, as you move into your career, and for the rest of your life. And you all are having the opportunity to make some decisions right now that are going to have very long-term impact on your financial well-being. So we want to give the information and the skills to make good decisions. We're going to talk about 3 specific topics today. Repayment of student loans, okay, because that's the biggest decisions that you have to make right now, the biggest financial impact. Budgeting, and also credit and how that impacts your financial life. So we're just going to dive right in. Student loans, okay? A lot of you are very early in your college careers and are being asked to make these big financial decisions. Do I borrow these thousands of dollars in student loans that are being offered to me, okay? And so I want to talk to you a little bit about the repayment side of it, and that will help you as you go forward thinking about, do I need these student loans? How much do I need? And oh yeah, at the end of all of this, I have to repay these student loans, okay? So useful facts to know. Only borrow what you really need. Well, a lot of students who accept the student loans simply because they're offered, and some will say, well, why do you offer us all this money, you know, if you don't think we need it? My job is to make sure you have access to education. And part of that is explaining and offering, okay, here is all of the financial aid available to you, okay? And then we're willing to work with you so that you can make an educated decision on, okay, well, how much do I need? All right, do I need student loans at all? Maybe so. Maybe your budget is such that you do. Maybe you don't need them at all. Maybe you only need a portion of what is offered to you. A lot of students don't realize that if we offer them $5,000 in student loans and they only need $1,000, that they can say, hey, I only want to take 1,000 of this. That's all I need to get through the semester, and we'll bring that loan down so that you only borrow what you need. And some students don't understand, you got to pay the loans back, and you have to pay them back with interest. Okay? I've got 3 kids in college. I have friends my age who have kids in college, and some of my friends are still repaying their student loans. I really don't want you to be in a position where you're repaying student loans 30 years after you've been out of college. Okay? So just remember, you have to pay them back, and you have to pay them back with interest. Now, there are 2 kinds of loans that you can get, depending on your financial need. You might be getting subsidized loans where the U.S. Department of Education is picking up the interest for you while you're in school, okay? But as soon as you finish school, those loans start accruing interest. And then there are unsubsidized loans. And those loans, from the moment you take them out, they start accruing interest. So a little tip at the bottom, if you have unsubsidized loans, you can make quarterly interest payments on those. Because if you don't, what will happen? You start school, you go to school for 4 years, and you're taking unsubsidized loans, and you're accruing that interest, remember, because it starts accruing from the moment you take the loans. And you get out of school, and you owe what you borrowed, the principal, you owe the interest. They're going to do something called capitalize that interest. In other words, they're going to throw it into what you owe to repay, and you're going to pay interest on the interest. It's crazy. So if you've got unsubsidized loans and you have the ability to make quarterly payments, and they're usually very small, please consider doing that to keep your overall debt burden down over the course of your repayment term. Grace period. So anybody seen one of those continuous motion swimming pools? They're small, they're usually for people who are doing exercise or training. You know, they're small and you get in it and the water is pumped through, and so you're swimming but you're not going anywhere because you're just swimming against this false current. It's kind of what happens when you start borrowing student loans. Your grace period, your deferment, from paying those loans is dependent upon you being in school for at least 6 credit hours or part-time, okay? When you drop below part-time, then you go into repayment. So it's like those continuous motion pools, once you get in, you gotta keep swimming, right? Because the current's gonna sweep you away. With student loans, once you drop below half-time enrollment, you've gone into your grace period, okay? And there's a 6-month grace period, a total of 6 months.
It's okay.
Otherwise, you're gonna go into repayment. So say, now it doesn't count for summertime, all right? So if you go fall, spring, you take the summer off, you're good, as long as you re-enroll in the fall for at least 6 credit hours. But if you take, if you go fall, and then you take off the spring and the summer, you're in a grace period, and you're using up those 6 months, okay? And if you come back to school that next fall, you can get back into in-school deferment, but you've used up a portion of that 6-month grace period deferment. You don't get 6 months every time, okay? That 6 months grace period is designed to help you plan and organize yourself to get ready to go into loan repayment. So say you've come through CF, you've gone through the nursing program, you've graduated, you've got your RN, you're working as a nurse, right? You've got that 6 months to go. All right, I'm gonna have to start making loan payments. I need to get myself organized, all right? And so this is the time to connect with your loan servicer, all right? This information is available on our website, on the portal. You can always come into the financial aid office and get it. We can always connect you with your loan servicer. But it's a time for planning and preparation, not a time to go, worry about that in 6 months. It's a time for preparation and planning. All right, so when it begins, make your payments on time, set them up on a monthly debit from your checking account, so you don't need to worry about it. Just, there it is, it comes out on the 12th of every month. Whatever you set up, and it's going. If you can't make your payments, contact your servicer, okay? I know for some of you this is a long time away, but I really want to instill in you the concept that the servicers want to work with you. They want you to be successful in repaying your loans in whatever means is possible for you, okay? Human nature is that times get tough or something's not going right, you're supposed to stick your head in the sand and ignore it. And that's not the thing to do with your student loans, okay? Get in touch with someone and talk about a plan that works for you. If you're 1 day late on your payment, we refer to that as a delinquent loan. If you're 270 days late, you are in default on your student loans. And we'll talk in a minute about what that means. Don't be freaked out by all these words here. Okay? What I wanted to show you here is that there are different types of repayment plans. Standard, graduated, extended, and income-based. The idea is there's no one size fits all. The standard plan at the top, this sort of the old traditional plan was that you would pay your student loans back over 10 years, right? But we've come to realize in the financial aid world and the U.S. Department of Education that one size does not fit all, and everybody has different circumstances. So there are like I said, income-based repayment plans, there are extended plans. There's something for everyone, and your payments can be very, very low as long as you work with your servicer. Other options, deferment. If you're in school, in the military, you've got some hardship going on, all right, they understand that, and they can give you a temporary deferment from making payments. Forbearance is another temporary postponement payment. And some students benefit from a consolidation of all their loans. If you've been to different schools, etc., for some students it's very helpful to put all of their student loans together into one consolidated loan. Okay. Consequences of default. Surprised at how many students students we have who are trying to come back to school who have actually gone into default. Remember, default meant that you've gone into repayment and you've gone 270 days without making a payment. You've stuck your head in the sand and just gone, go away world, I don't want to deal with it, right? So the consequences, it gets reported on your credit report. And we're going to talk about credit reports in a few minutes, about what comprises that and what happens on that. You're going to owe the entire balance immediately. So say you owe that you borrowed $15,000 in student loans, and your monthly payments were $100 for simplicity's sake. And you're 270 days past due, so you know, what, 9, 10 months past due. But when you get to default, you don't owe just those payments that you're past due. Suddenly, you owe the whole balance. Suddenly, that whole $15,000 is due immediately. Okay? So, it's worth a phone call to your servicer to say, what can I do? What kind of plan, what kind of payment plan can we work out? You're no longer eligible for deferments or forbearance, so even if you go back into school, you can't get an in-school deferment if you're in default. In fact, you can't get any further financial aid. We have a lot of students who try and come back to school, they're in default on their student loans, they cannot receive a Pell Grant, they cannot receive further loans because they are in default. Your wages or income tax refund may be garnished. Had a student in my office just a couple months ago, her husband was in default on his student loans, and I've seen payments as low as $5 or $10 a month. He wouldn't do anything about it, and they had, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000 garnished on an income tax refund. They didn't get it. Whereas if you'd been making small payments every month, then they would have gotten their income tax return just as normal, okay? But the U.S. Department, the federal government, can also garnish your wages. So not just your income tax refund, but also your wages. Professional licenses can be withheld, especially those of you going into health occupations. And your loans will be assigned to a collection agency, and there's often fees involved in that. So some of you may think, well, okay, how can my student loan be canceled? It's not easy. It cannot be dismissed in bankruptcy. Okay, so be careful in what you borrow. You need to pay it back, and you're going to pay it back with interest. So obviously, if you pass away, then the loan is canceled. In some instances, if there's total or permanent disability that can be documented, then you can have some loans discharged. And also in some rare instances, if your school is closed, this typically has been some of the for-profit schools, not your state schools. The school closed where you couldn't complete the program. Okay. So that's sort of the negative side of it, right? What happens if I don't pay my loans? Or how can I pay my loans? Let's talk about a little bit about budgeting and keep you on the happy side of things so that you're in a place where you can be prompt and efficient in paying your loans. So budgeting. What are some of the budget goals that you all have? Anybody? About paying for college? Maybe. Maybe anybody here really want to buy a car?
You guys awake?
They are. I can see them
Yep.
a little bit.
You guys were throwing out stuff last week, like some of you said, I want to build a house in X amount of years, or I want to get married. That costs money. That's a budget in X amount of years. Or I want
buy
to.
a car. Eventually, you want to buy a house. You want to pay for your children's college education. Okay. You want to be able to retire one day. All right. Those are all budget goals. Right? They don't happen unless you plan for them. You may retire, but you may not have any money to retire. Okay. So when you're budgeting, you got to first decide, what do I want to accomplish? Okay? What do I want to do? Maybe I want to go on a awesome vacation. You know, when I was in high school, I decided after I graduated from high school, I wanted to go on a trip to Europe. So I got a job, and every week I made about $50, and 40 of it went into a savings account. The other 10 paid for my gas. I know this is ancient times, but the other 10 paid for my gas and my meals. All right? But over the course of my senior year of high school, I saved enough money so So after my senior year, I was able to make a trip to Europe, and it was really awesome. But it would never have happened if I hadn't set the goal ahead of time and then figured out a plan to get there, okay? So we're thinking about deciding on your goals, organizing your expenses, because you gotta know how much you spend. And a lot of people, this is the biggest stumbling block for them, is not understanding how much money they really spend. Establishing a budget plan, for me, that was the $50 earned, $40 in the savings account, right? Committed to paper. You can think about it all day long, you can talk about it, unless you write it down, it's not gonna happen. And then organize and store your financial records in a safe place. How many people have got, receipts and stuff strewn everywhere? You go scrambling at tax time, right? Anybody been scrambling lately to find their stuff and do their taxes? All right, I see some smiles. All right, so this should be logical, but just so we're all on the same page here, okay? Your income minus your money out, that's your profit or loss, okay? That's either what you have left over to spend or save, or if it's a loss, that's how much you've got to come up with from somewhere else to make your budget. So tips to saving money. All right, reduce your cell phone plan, buy secondhand, eat at home. Oh my gosh, how many of you like, hit Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru?
Better get those hands up, because I know some of you guys. Yep.
What does it cost? I have my thing too.
Yeah, how much? Like,
$5, $6, yeah. I like to eat out at lunch. I hate to bring I like leftovers at home at night, but for some reason, I don't like to bring in lunch to eat at work. I like to physically get out of the building and go eat out at lunchtime. If I go to McAllister's and get a salad and a drink, it's $11. And that's a bit of a luxury to do that every single day, because now I'm at $55 if I do that every single day. If I'm gonna do that, I gotta work that into the plan, right? All right. What's something you spend $20 on a week?
yeah.
Gas, what else? $20 a week is how much a year?
Yeah.
Over $1,000. So if you're spending $1,000 on something a year, that should probably be in your plan, right? My husband works in a bank, and he has to wear a shirt that has been pressed at the laundry, right? It's part of the dress code. So we spend about $15, $20 a week at the dry cleaners. You just don't, you drop the shirts off, you pick the shirts up, you pay the $18, $20, okay? But we spend between $750 and $1,000 a year for dry cleaning.
Right.
It doesn't sound like a lot at the time, but it's an important part of our financial plan, and he has to have it because his job depends on him being dressed appropriately, okay? So these are things that you have to really consider when we're looking at a budget plan. What are the things that you all do to save money?
Don't eat out.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Stop buying clothes. Stop buying clothes. For me, that's just don't go in the store.
Right.
I can make a fast food meal with 2 actual meals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plan it so that
Sometimes I'll eat it for lunch and at dinner.
Exactly. Maybe instead of the 6-inch sub, you get the 12-inch sub.
But you eat it twice, yeah.
But you eat it twice, and it's not twice as expensive. For $1 more, you get the 12-inch sub,
Right.
and then that becomes 2 meals. It's a constant, how can I stretch my dollar further? How can I be efficient with this? And let me tell you, some of you may already have families. As you have a family and your responsibility for others increases, it just becomes more and more important to understand how to make the most of your dollar so that you can meet those budget goals that you have, so that you can take a vacation, so that you are not paying back your student loans in 30 years. actually have a written budget.
I did that like 12 years ago.
Yeah. I am one of those weird nerdy people, I think because of my banking background, who actually does a budget.